Ah, pasta, right? It's the ultimate pantry staple. It's simple, it's reliable, it's cheap. We all grew up with it, and let's be honest, most of us assume we know exactly what we're buying, just some wheat and water. But what if the pasta filling our shelves today is a totally different product than what our parents and grandparents ate? What if that wholesome staple has been, well, quietly transformed? Okay, let's really get into this, because the story behind that familiar box is way more complex and, frankly, more deceptive than you'd ever imagine. We're going to peel back the layers of marketing and see what's really going on in the pasta aisle.
In this slide, this pretty much says it all. It's the whole story in a nutshell. We expect this simple traditional food. But the reality for most of the brands you see on the shelf, it's a product made from low-grade commodity grains, put through some really harsh industrial processing that just obliterates the nutrients, which are then replaced with synthetic additives. And that authentic heritage story, yeah, that's often just pure marketing fiction.
So how did we even get here? I mean, this wasn't some kind of accident. It's the result of decades of very deliberate industry practices that put profits and shelf life way ahead of quality and, actual nutrition. This is the great pasta deception.
Okay, pay attention because this slide gives you the #1 clue. If you flip over that box and see enriched semolina in the ingredients, that's your giant red flag. All it means is that the pasta was processed so aggressively, so intensely, that the natural goodness of the wheat was completely destroyed. So, to meet the legal minimums, companies just add back this little cocktail of synthetic vitamins. It means you're not eating something with natural nutrients. You're eating a synthetically fortified industrial product.
All right, let's start naming some names. Some of the most familiar brands in the pasta aisle are using their reputations and some really clever marketing to hide what's really going on behind the scenes.
Let's start with Catelli. This brand has been in Canadian kitchens since 1867. For generations, we've trusted it as this authentic Canadian company. But here's the thing, that trust is kind of misplaced now. Catelli was quietly bought up by Barilla, the giant Italian multinational. So that familiar blue box isn't a symbol of Canadian tradition anymore, it's just another asset for a massive foreign corporation.
And then you've got Idol Pasta. The name, the Italian flags, all that rustic imagery, it all just screams authentic Italian quality. But back in 2018, the mask kind of slipped. There was a recall after metal fragments from broken machinery were found in their pasta. That one incident tells you everything. This isn't some small artisan production. It's a massive industrial operation where things can, and definitely do, go wrong.
And that brings us to the parent company itself, Barilla, probably the most recognized Italian pasta brand on the planet. A lot of us pay extra for it, thinking we're getting something better, something truly Italian. But the Barilla you buy in Canada, it's made right here in North America, using standard commodity wheat and, you guessed it, the exact same enriched semolina process. You're paying almost $8 for 900 grams of fancy marketing, not authentic Italian pasta.
So we've seen how these so-called premium brands create this illusion of quality. But what's happening at the other end of the spectrum, with the store brands? Well, this is where the competition gets absolutely ruthless, and quality just takes a total nosedive in a relentless race to the bottom. $1.49 for almost a kilogram of pasta. Just stop and think about that for a second. How is that even possible? When you think about the cost of the wheat, the milling, the processing, the packaging, shipping, that price tag tells you that every single possible corner is being cut.
And here's exactly how they do it. This is the formula. First, you source the absolute cheapest wheat blends you can find on the global market. Then you blast it with the harshest, highest temperature processing to make it as fast as possible. And the result? You get this gummy, starchy pasta that turns your water all cloudy and can't even hold on to sauce properly. And the final step? Just add back that same list of synthetic vitamins to make it legal to sell. Okay, but what about the brands in the middle, like Compliments? They cost 40, maybe 50% more, so they've got to be better, right? Well, not so fast. This is a classic retail trick. It's a psychological trap. We assume a middle price means middle quality. But a lot of the time, this pasta is made in the exact same factories with the exact same ingredients as the super cheap stuff. You're literally just paying more for the illusion of a better product.
But of all the products we've talked about, there is one that stands completely alone. It's a Canadian cultural icon that, according to our research, is doing some pretty serious generational damage.
1.7 million boxes every single week. That's just in Canada. Craft Dinner is so much more than a food. It's a piece of our childhood. It's comfort food. But that warm, fuzzy nostalgia is hiding a really, really disturbing reality.
Let's actually look at what's in that cheese sauce powder. The number one ingredient isn't cheese, it's whey, which is a cheap dairy byproduct. Where's the actual cheese? It's way down at the bottom of the list as cheese culture. And that bright neon orange color? That comes from artificial dyes, yellow 5 and yellow 6. These are chemicals that have been linked to hyperactivity in children and actually require a warning label in Europe, but not here in Canada. This isn't powdered cheese, it's cheese-flavored chemical powder.
And then there's the sodium. Oh my gosh, the sodium. A single serving has almost 40% of a child's entire daily limit. But let's be real, who eats just one serving? An older kid or an adult can easily finish a whole box, and that's a staggering 160% of their daily sodium allowance, all in one meal with basically zero nutritional value. So here it is. This is the real, lasting damage of Kraft Dinner. It's not just the salt or the fake colors. It's that it actively rewires a child's palate. It trains their taste buds to crave these hyper-palatable, engineered combinations of salt, fat, and refined carbs. It sets them up for a lifetime of preferring industrial food products over actual, nutritious food.
Okay, I know, that was a lot of bad news. But here's the good part. Now that you know what to look for, you actually have the power to choose better. So let's talk about how to find real pasta.
Think of this as your secret weapon for the grocery store. It's really simple. On the left, everything you want to avoid. Enriched semolina, long lists of vitamins, artificial colors. On the right, what you want to look for. An ingredient list that just says durum wheat semolina, and maybe water. Look for a Made in Italy label on authentic brands, not just some vague Italian-style marketing. And a little pro tip, if you see bronze die cut, grab it. That means it has a rougher texture that sauce just clings to beautifully.
And here are some specific options, kind of like a ladder of quality you can climb. A really great, easy-to-find choice in most supermarkets is Disecco. It's actually made in Italy, and it's not enriched. If you want to level up to true artisan quality, look for brands like Rustichella d'Abruzzo in specialty shops. Even better, support local producers at farmers markets. And of course, for the absolute best quality control, make your own. It's honestly easier than you think.
So, at the end of the day, the power is back in your hands. Every dollar you spend at the grocery store is a vote for the kind of food you want to see on the shelves. You can vote for the industrial commodity, or you can vote for real pasta. Now that you can see past the marketing and actually read the labels, the choice is all yours.